Hello and welcome to the How to Exit podcast. Today I'm here with Richard Luftig, co-founder and managing partner of Castle Placement. Thank you for being on the show today.
Oh, no, thank you for having me. It's great.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I always joke around, and my favorite, probably the people listening get sick of my joke, but you may not have heard it yet. So, as the joke is always, you were born and then you end up on a show about mergers and acquisition. Can you fill out the gap in between?
Okay. Do you have like a couple of weeks or?
Let's do the short version.
Sure. So I grew up in the suburb of New York City, and I went off to college and I graduated and went to work for a boutique investment bank, very similar to Castle Placement, I might add. And I worked there for about 7 years. And 4 years into that, it was 1990, and the economy was really slow, and our deal flow was really slow. A friend of mine from high school called me up and said that he was going to law school. And I started thinking about that. And my boss at that first job was a lawyer. And it occurred to me that he seemed to have a real leg up on all of the transactional work that we were doing. He just seemed to be the guy in the room that knew most of the angles. I took all of that into consideration and applied to law school and got in. And I went at night while I was working at this investment bank.
Tell everybody what Castle Placement does in a general sense of things.
Sure. The funny thing is that we've been at it for 14 years and we only do one thing, which is really unusual for me because I'm not the most focused, disciplined person that's able to stick to something. But we raise private equity and debt capital for our clients. And it's turned out to be pretty successful. We've raised multiple billions of dollars for our clients in all different types of industries, sizes, stages, equity, debt, geographies. So it's been really good. And I think what's different about our process is that we built the firm around a data and technology core. And we are a full service investment bank. We're FINRA licensed, registered with the SEC, but we've like fully integrated the investment banking, the people, into one seamless process. It just works really well. It's a very efficient way to raise capital.
Everything's changing constantly. How do those changes impact you guys, and how has technology changed how money's being raised over the last bit of time, and how do you see it changing things in the future?
You have to understand that we've been really lucky at Castle Placement because we built this platform based on data and technology and really utilizing the internet to raise capital as opposed to the traditional, what we think are antiquated practices of investment banks where deals were done at the country club, boardroom, and road shows. We just thought that like every other industry, and remember this is all the way back to 2009, that every other industry was completely transforming because of the internet, and investment banking was not. So that's why we built the firm. And then the last piece of the puzzle is we developed an app called CP Go. And as far as I know, it's quite unique in the investment banking space. It allows our clients and our investors to see all of the activity with respect to a transaction live right on the app. So if you think about it, if we have a client in the waste to energy space and we show it to an investor at Blackstone, and her name is Mary Jones. That's a made up name. So the client goes on the CPGO app and they see that Castle Placement is talking to Mary Jones at Blackstone about their transaction. And the banker at Castle Placement is putting in his or her notes every day, what's going on with Mary Jones regarding this specific transaction. She's asking questions. What are her concerns? What information has she looked at? Has she signed an NDA? Have we had a call with the client? All of this information is right there on that one record in the app. I'm not saying this like we're super smart, but we were just fascinated with AI way before it was in the mainstream discussion. So we were working with machine learning 10 years ago, and we have integrated machine learning and AI into our technology platform. And if you think about it, it's really amazing because like ChatGPT is great and it works with like a massive data set, and that's fantastic. I'm obsessed with it. But where it really gets interesting for a business, I think, is when you have proprietary data. Like I mentioned, that we spent 14 years building out this data set of investment criteria for 65,000 institutional investors. Well, now the AI, we call it ChatCP Go. You go into our app, you can type in, hey, I'm interested in investment opportunities in healthcare. I want to invest $500,000 and I'm based in Chicago and I would love to see companies in the Midwest. Just conversational, right? And it will say, okay, here are the 7 transactions that meet your criteria. I mean, it's just crazy.
Be totally 100% funded by investment bankers and stuff. Some people are taking, like, especially like commercial real estate deals and stuff like that. Some people are taking these to the crowdfunding world. How are you playing inside of that world, or what do you guys think about the equity crowdfunding, the tools that are out there?
We think equity crowdfunding is amazing. We jumped into that pool 3 years ago fully, put a tremendous amount of time and money and resources behind that effort. And now we've built out this whole platform or ecosystem that can do equity crowdfunding transactions from soup to nuts right on our website. We do Reg CF and Reg A, and there are certain things that we can't do, like we're not allowed to do, like we don't provide the legal advice, we don't do the audit, we are not the escrow agent, and we are not the transfer agent, for instance, but we have incorporated all of those elements right into our technology, right on our website. So the client who's raising the capital doesn't have to worry about any of that. We've got it all covered.
You might be able to answer a question I truly have. Can you mix and match? Can I do like a PPM and do a 5? I forgot what the numbers are, but
Reg
basically,
D 506C.
yeah, C or D. It's C and D, right? B and C.
It's Reg D, and there's a 506B and
Yeah,
a 506C.
B
But
and
we
C.
would strongly recommend that you never think about doing a 506B. And I could tell you why at another time. But we focus on Reg D 506C, which means that you can only take in from accredited investors,
Okay.
institutional investors. Whereas in a Reg A or a Reg CF, you can take the investment from anybody, accredited or non accredited.
How is that helping the secondary or hurting the secondary trading of private securities? Is it impacting your ability to help raise money?
I'm glad you mentioned private securities secondary trading. I don't think there are too many people that are really plugged into that. We just received our license less than 2 weeks ago
Hmm.
for our ATS, which is an alternative trading system. It's a really hard license to get, like really hard license to get. Uh, I'm getting like the nightmare sweats just thinking about the process. But what it allows us to do is just that. You can go right onto CP Go, and in addition to our new issuance, companies that are raising capital, you can go and look at secondary transactions. So